All right, here's us.
We're back.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We're excited to be here.
We always come on.
Always,
Yeah.
always. So yesterday or previously, we
Mhm.
talked about library content a couple times. Today,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about how to localize that library content because where you could certainly use it as is and just plug it in and go, and it works really well.
Mhm.
I think it's a step above, and it helps to localize that content, make it a little more relevant to your store.
Yeah. Should we start with the page that we added
Yes.
yesterday?
So let's go to um, website and page editor,
Mhm.
and we'll go to that bike that was called benefits of cycling.
Yep.
So we will edit said. Oh, just as a reminder, here's what the page looks like on its own stock form, straight from our creative team. So, like I said,
Mhm.
it's a great page. It's got good H1 tags
Mhm.
on it and good copy
Yeah.
and good catalog sections. But
Mhm.
it's always a good idea to make it specific to your store.
Yeah.
And so we'll edit that page. And I think the first place to start is that first uh, content section.
Mhm.
I think the titles are fine. I don't know that I changed those titles. We've thought a lot about those
Mm-mm.
H1 or H2 tags, whatever those tags happen to be. Let me go see.
Mhm.
Should be H2s. So we thought about those tags and the structure of them and their usefulness for local search.
Mhm.
But this copy, I wouldn't necessarily suggest everybody completely rewrite the copy. But what would you change here, Susie, to localize it to a particular business?
I would look for opportunities. Maybe if it's you can add like your city, your local community, your town name. I'm trying to read it really quickly. I should have been more prepared. If you're feeling, in that last sentence, I think it
Hmm.
says if you're feeling a little shut down after a long winter in Chicago, if that's where you are, as an
Yep.
example, that could be a nice little place, that feels relevant and doesn't feel too, I don't know, you're like jamming it in there. Make sure it makes sense. Maybe in that last part too, if you call your friends or reach out to us
This
at
might be a little sad, but what if I said,
nobody to ride with. Ooh, that's nice. You could link to your like rides and events page or something like that. Genius on the fly, Mark. Jeez.
I'm getting there. After 14 years of doing this, I have an idea once in a while. I don't know if I actually have a on my test site if there is a rides and events page. It doesn't matter. If you found the page, you'd find it in this link. You just
Yeah.
pick whatever, then insert the rides and
Perfect.
events page. So that gives you Chicago, and that gives you a link, an internal link within the site to a relevant page.
Hmm.
And we always like the idea of calls to action or give somebody a way to act if they like what you've said.
Yeah.
So there you go. And I
Perfect.
wouldn't get carried away. Let's not
Mm-mm.
try and get the word bicycle in there 19 times. Let's not try and get the name of the city in there 12 times. Don't put your phone number in there.
Mm-mm.
It needs to read like something interesting, and it shouldn't have typos in it like I just did. It needs to read like something interesting to a person. You're not
Yes.
trying to game the search process. Smart search engines are smarter than that now.
Hmm.
Put relevant things in there that your customers would care about and find interesting.
Yes. Yeah. So I think that top section is probably the most important. If it makes, I want to say if it feels relevant, if it makes sense, it feels like it flows.
Yep.
Maybe there's some little modifications you can make to those titles with like above the catalog sections.
Right.
Yeah. But I think should we look at the kind of the metadata?
Can yep. So there's a couple places to look at that. So in I did that really fast. So page settings,
Yep.
and then the meta tab. It starts off on basic. Go to meta,
Hmm.
and no search engines that I know of really pay any attention to meta keywords anymore. It doesn't hurt if you
Mm-mm.
put something there. There's a pretty good chance it doesn't help anything. But this meta description is important, and it's not important so much from a search or a ranking standpoint, but it's important that if somebody Googles what are the benefits of cycling and your page wins,
Mhm.
this is likely the snippet Google's going to use in that search result.
Yes.
And so this should be, in this case, it looks a lot like that first paragraph. So this should be proper capitalization, good grammar, well written, but short, a sentence or two. That's it.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think same kind of thing applies. It certainly, again, not at this part of the page. The copy out front is relevant for search. I don't think this is so much, but if somebody sees that little snippet and
Yeah.
they're in Chicago and they see Chicago, then that helps them relate to that and more
Mhm.
likely to click that as the result they want.
Yeah, you know, something you do a Google search, if you search specifically like cycling or benefits of cycling in Chicago, and then Google gives you the like, and it either highlights or underlines key keywords, exact matches.
Hmm.
So then that would be pulled, you'd see that in your search results, if that
Yep.
makes
And see,
sense.
we've got this limited to 200 characters. So if I add that, something has to go.
Hmm.
And that's okay. I mean, this is really the core message is, um, this is part of the core message that cycling's low cost and easy and gets fresh air. But in this particular purpose, we're trying to connect with the searcher to get them to read that little snippet and go, oh, that's good. Let me click that. So sir, I can say Susie doesn't cycle in a low cost way. So we'll take low cost out.
Wow, I feel attacked. We all have our things, okay? I don't spend much money. I don't spend money on like literally anything else.
Yeah, and I don't. So there's
I've been
not
wearing the same sweatpants for
there-
3 days in a row. Okay, what do you?
there's not high dollar bikes in this house. So I
Mhm.
can make fun of you.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, so then we apply those settings, and that's one place that it's important to make those changes. And
Hmm.
then another thing we want to do is confirm these catalog sections are making sense. So in this paragraph, this section of the page is talking about fitness bikes. So if we edit this little catalog section, basic settings here are just the name. You don't really need the description. That's just for internalness.
Hmm.
Um, Selection parameters is what decides what shows up in that section. So in this case, it's fitness bikes. So when we look at and this, I forget where all my stuff is in my poor little test site. So I've got fitness included. Let's say that paragraph still made sense and you really wanted cruisers and comfort bikes in there because you can see
Hmm.
from here you've got some cruiser and comfort bikes displaying on your site, and just add those to the list. And you may want other parameters, but remember here, the more boxes we check to enable parameters, the narrower the search gets because it's an and thing.
Yeah.
So this is in this case, they'd have to be in those categories. Some of these have to be these brands, and they'd have to be on sale or closeout. So very
Hmm.
few things would show up. So think about that. You want as broad a category or as broad a selection as you can have, and still have relevant things in there.
Hmm.
So that's how we edit those sections. So go through that copy in each of those sections.
Hmm.
Don't get carried away, but if there's a way you can add a piece of local content like the city name once or a link to a rides and events page, preferably keeping them on your site, not sending them off somewhere else. That's a bad thing. You've made all this effort to get people on your site.
Yeah.
Let's not send them away to a brand website or to your Facebook page because now they're not in the spot where they see these catalog sections and such.
Mhm.
And then confirm these catalog sections are relevant. You may want to change them completely. Maybe lights and bags and racks are just not your thing, in which case, change this title, change the copy, and update the catalog section, or just turn it off. So if you think, well, that's just not a relevant section, I don't need that, then you can make it inactive. And you'll do it, in this case, you do it twice because there's a section for the title and a section for the catalog section. And then once you make all those changes, be sure to confirm it did what you thought it would do. And you do that by saving those changes, and then you can preview the page before you publish the change.
Mhm.
So there's our changes with Chicago. and the link to the, and always test your links. So go to that link. And remember, this isn't a ride and event page. It was just whatever page I found, but make sure it goes to the page you wanted it to go to.
Yeah.
And then we made that change by oh, look, there's a good reason to test. So we removed
Mhm.
the section, but we didn't remove the separator between there. Or we disable, we didn't remove it. So
Yeah.
let's see. I don't guess it really matters which one we make inactive. And then we can preview again. We were doing good keeping these at 5 or 6 minutes, and now,
I think you've added some details that
yeah, good. Okay, so
perfect.
it does what I wanted it to do. There's
Mhm.
more bikes in there than was originally part of that catalog, and we removed that one section that wasn't relevant, and we've got the page looking the way we want,
Yeah. Yeah,
and it's
so
more local.
exactly. So all of our pre-built content, that's anything you find in the libraries be free for you to use. Everything has it's built to be ready to go, but you can just make some little modifications.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we won't get deep into this, but another modification might be the image. So
Yeah.
that image should work in a lot of places. That I don't know, I haven't been to Chicago, but I think that's a Chicago-y kind of feel.
This could be a lot of places. This could be a park in Boulder. I think that's where your test site says you are located.
It very much could be a park in Boulder. But we'll talk about this in another section. But this is where
Yeah.
you could upload a new image and change that image out. So we'll get into images at another around the workstand daily. But for now, localize your content
Mhm.
and frequently update it and get fresh content up there, and it will make a difference in your local search results.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, thank you, Mark.
You're welcome. Thank you, Susie.
Let us know if we can help.
All righty. I don't think we got